Welcome in to episode number 4 of the Hobby Hotline Monday Night Heat, live every Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East Coast. Tonight, we have Doug from Mojo Break. What's up, Doug?
What's going on, man? Happy to have another Monday Heat.
Yeah, we're good to go. And I'm Big Tim Shepler from About the Cards podcast. We're going to be joined later by my other co-host, Stephan Loeffler. He's out in the wild right now. I think he's hunting down mosaic boxes at Target, so we'll see what he comes up with. But a lot of great stuff. We were just talking pre-show in the hobby, and the pre-show about the hobby and what's going on. There's just a lot of craziness, and I think a lot of listeners, and I'll drop the link here in the chat for everybody. But I've had a lot of feedback, and I want to see what your perspective is about. And I know you talked a little bit about this last week on your podcast. Is that like what quote you said, hobby fatigue, and these box prices and where they're at. And I think we had enough releases out now since the shutdown coming back out. And Series 2 drops in a hobby box I saw in Steel City was $140. Blowout and DA were in the 110 neighborhood. To me, it's jumbo boxes like $180, $200. It's crazy. Luis Robert is like the only guy in there.
Right.
And I just want to see what your thoughts were and what's going on now. Like, where can it go?
Yeah, I mean, the big boys are piggybacking off all the, hot releases that have been coming out. But, in my opinion, in Series 2, Series 2 usually gets some buzz when there's baseball going on, when there's a couple guys that are breaking out. I mean, Luis Robert, or however you say his name now, I don't think he's enough to drive the price up to, $200 a box on jumbos. So it's, my only concern is some of those people that bought those boxes at that price, they go on a major online retailer the next day and it's less. I mean, do these major online retailers give you the difference back? Is there any kind of, It's so it's up and down so quick on some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I canceled. I pre-order with the DNA for a jumbo case because I couldn't get it through the distributor. Later on, they were able to help me out with a couple of boxes, and I canceled it. And I took the cancellation like $25 or whatever it was because I couldn't see the value in Series 2 with this checklist. And
right.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to open this and get disappointed. I went through a couple of personal jumbos and then some hobby, and so far the collation's been bad. Like, I'll have 6 or 7 of every guy, and then all of a sudden I'll come across somebody where I have 14 or 15. And it's like, okay, well, that happened with Luis Robert. I mean, I got lucky there, or I got those, but some of the other guys, it's not there, and there's no other major stars. And you have, I think we said Chris Bryant is the next veteran star that's in there, and Charlie Blackmon. After that, it's kind of who's in this. I just have a feeling a lot of people are going to feel taken advantage of. Sure. And what does that do long term? And also too, Legacy Football dropped this week, and last year that was like an $80, $90 box maybe.
Yep.
And now it's $200, and you're getting 2 autos. But I saw your guys open up a couple boxes while you were out Friday, and Jared Pickney came up quite often in a few boxes out of a case, and it's like, that's no fault of yours. You're opening what's out there, but I don't understand. I don't get it. 1 Million Cubs says that his former LCS closed to a flood and does online. He said a case of 87 Donruss for almost $2,000 recently.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of new people coming into the hobby. So, supply is dwindling, and I know some of the major online retailers see that. So they're gonna try to like pitch them high, watch them buy. I guess try to keep this thing going. But at the end of the day, if the singles are not going to sell out of that product, then the box prices are not going to hold. And I think Topps has also done kind of a bad job of not releasing the checklist. You mentioned the coalition issues. It could be COVID related. I don't know if they have their full staff working. I don't know how, Cardamundi's packing out cards and stuff like that. But we're like not getting any previews. We're not getting checklists until the day of. So it's really hard to justify spending that kind of money sometimes when you don't even know what kind of hits you're going to get or what kind of rookies are going to be in the product either.
No, yeah, and I keep we keep seeing it, and I'm happy. I'm loving new people coming into the hobby. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful, but I feel like if they get taken advantage of, then
they're going to leave.
Yeah, they're not going to come back. And everybody else is following suit of a few people. And it's like, what would happen if DA were to challenge Blowout and lower their price a little bit? They feel like they're going to leave money on the table, but could they snag customers that way?
Sure.
Yeah, like Steven here says, how do kids afford anything to buy these days? I don't know, because like I go in and I look at the box prices, and then I go home and I turn on Mojo and watch them open it, because that's where I'm going to get it now. I'm going to buy singles. I don't see. So if you guys have thoughts on this, or you've seen something crazy, hit us up. The link is in the chat. We'd love to hear your opinion. Have you call in today and spend some time with us. Steph, like I said, will be here with us later. I think too, we saw with Project 2020, like we saw that major spike in prices. And I think it's leveled out and come down somewhat. But I think that was due to also people were like being able to make money and see these big, large profits on cards. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to be easy, quick money. And I think they see these in these other boxes. And sometimes it's not there, because if you're trying to nickel and dime somebody to a $200 box and, they don't get what they're looking for, then you get this guy's crap. He always gives me crappy boxes. And that should be half the price. Right. So,
no doubt. I mean, you are seeing, I guess if you got an Andrew McCutcheon SP in every box, you'd be okay. But I don't know how often those are coming out. So it looked like they were going for like $300 or something crazy like that.
And that's crazy, because I think that was just a regular short print and not like the super short prints. It looked like a super short print, but I found when I was opening the hobby, and I don't, it frustrates me when we're getting to a little bit of out of control here. But when I was opening my hobby boxes, there was always a certain pack and the same spot in every hobby box the hit was in, and then not to follow too much later, that short print came. And so you have somebody that knows that, and they go to a store and they can basically quote kill a box,
right, fifth pack down or whatnot.
Yeah, by doing that. So we've seen like the collation. Somebody also sent out a picture of 2020 where it had the whole entire box. On the right hand side of the card was the printing edge, and the card was cut off, and there was it was just part of the sheet. We've seen that. We've seen the Cam Reddish auto was on a card out of 5 out of National Treasures going for $7,000, and it's a diagonal straight line.
Yep, terrible.
Bowman had was a Philip Clark missing autographs on base cards. I just, how much of this can we accept when we're paying astronomical prices for these boxes, and then you can't get the manufacturer on the phone?
Right.
I feel for collectors, and I don't know what else. You can bang on the door and complain so much, but when people are paying these prices, why do they care?
Right.
When they see what's happening out there. So,
well, do you think some of these older collectors I've seen, like guys that have been collecting for 5-6 years or more, or even longer, do you think they're becoming replaced with some of these new sneaker hype kind of guys, and these guys are just turning a blind eye to these prices? I think so, because I think quote the sneaker game, it's so expensive, and that's just kind of what they have the expectation of, and it doesn't bother them to spend that much. And some older collectors that have been in this that remember 2015, even 2016, what the prices were then compared to now, are really turned off by this. And those are probably the more long-term collectors than the guys hopping in right now, because they're able to see this as a quick flip, because you can't go to the mall and wait in line, right? To go get the new shoes. Exactly.
And they could figure out bots to get the hot stuff on the websites. And they can go and stock the guy at Target to get the blasters that they're looking for and make a quick buck. So, it's crazy. John P here in the chat says, have you guys ever heard anyone complain about putting big league set together? He's 4 hobby boxes in and 6 cards. He's still 30 cards, and he's 4 out of 6 boxes. He's still missing 30 cards. He's opened 4 boxes, and that's like 400 cards a box. Right.
So there's correlation there too, then.
Yeah. It's to me, it's astounding of what's going on there. But I just wish that we could figure out a way, and I think it's good for people that are, for like, I heard you guys when you were talking about one of the new basketball releases, and how you pre-sold it so early, and you didn't change your price on your customers or do anything, where you could have made 5x on what you'd sold it at because it got so hot. But because people bought in early, they get rewarded for a better value. Sure. And I love that fact, but there's not a lot of people out there that are willing, that would do something like that, or they would wait to list it till the last minute.
Well, and yeah, I mean, there's so many people that just they don't want to leave a dime on the table, right? I mean, it's like I can't leave a dime on the table, so they just basically wait to the last minute, and you're seeing that with the major online retailers as well. Is that products usually aren't even available a couple days before release because they're trying to get a pulse on the market. You've seen it with Spectra basketball, where First Off the Line hit right when First Off the Line was going Dutch auction for Spectra basketball. The major online retailers didn't have any of it available, the hobby version. So they're basically waiting to see how much that ends out before they can, make a couple extra bucks there too. So, I always say you got to take care of your good customers. You got to take care of your long-term customers. And I think that a lot of that's getting, missed in all this hype and all this the box may go up $20 next day or it may go up $100 next week. So I can't really sell it right now. Well, if you don't sell it to anybody, then you're holding on to it, then nobody can, particicate, and then people are out of the hobby. So
yeah. And what do you feel like the distributor role is in this pricing point, and how because I've worked with one for a little over a year, and even through Series 1 tops this year, I was able to order, and that's pretty much what I'm ordering, and whatever other boxes I can get. I'm not spending $10,000 a month on boxes, but I was able to get a case of Series 1 and Jumbo and Hobby. Mm-hmm. For Series 2, I was able to get one of each. And then they called me later and said, hey, we found some extras for you. And then I saw my pre-order for update. And even though I pre-ordered, another case of each, it looks like it's one a box of each. Series 1 was a lot hotter than Series 2.
Sure.
With the people in it. I mean, what do you think their role is in all of this? And
I think it goes back. I think it goes back to kind of what I was just mentioning is that they don't want to leave anybody on the table. So, they allocate what they can allocate, and they're all very open about they're going to hold on to product and sell it at market price. So they're going to wait a couple weeks or maybe a couple days after release to see where it's at, and then they sell it to us or whoever shops at that high market price. So they. Like I said, they're not leaving money on the table, so that's why they're cutting everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting back to that. They could print more cards, right? Mm-hmm. But then we get to the point where it's 1992 again, and there's cards everywhere, and it's like, do we want to be there? And everybody can buy them at a good, affordable price, or we rather have a little bit of higher price, but have the,
single selling for more, right?
Correct. Yeah. And so, but the print runs are still crazy. I mean, there's still tons of, when I saw, who was it? Houdini, he had 100 cases of Bowman, that's a lot. That's a lot of cards. And that's a lot of cards to open. If that's one person, granted, he opens a lot and you guys go through product and you see, the print runs are there to be had, but it's just, the fact is the demand's out there to get these guys that are hot, and to me it's just kind of crazy. If you look back from 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's completely been crazy. And who would have thought during we've mentioned this on the show before, but who would have thought during COVID that cards would have been as hotter than ever, basically.
Yeah.
But the distributors do. They're getting a lot of hate right now, and maybe it's justified, but. They don't know how long this is going to last, so they're trying to cash in. It is capitalism, but at the same time, the person that kind of gets affected by the value is what we talked about, the collector that's buying the boxes. They're the one that at the end of the line basically are getting less for their money than they used to. So, and it's so much harder to hit like the Dominguez's because they found that common denominator to keep you chasing, but it's so hard to hit them. So when you do hit them, his value is protected because it's so hard to hit them. But at the same time, you're going through cases and cases and cases, and you're not hitting them.
Yeah, I know, and that's my thing is when I went to the card shop up the street, they had a jumbo box of 2020 Bowman it was around $4 something a box. Mm-hmm. They had a jumbo box of 19 draft for $3.90 a box. And this guy was asking, he's like, I'm trying to get back into baseball. Which one of these I should buy? I was like, buy the draft all day. And again, this argument with another guy, and he's like, no, you want Jason Dominguez. And I said, the chances of you pulling a Dominguez out of that one box are very slim. But draft, you have 4 of the top 5 picks, plus all those other draft picks in there.
Yep.
If you hit a Rushman, it's not as good, but you could hit a Rushman and somebody else in there and be real happy and long term. And then plus all those other Chrome cards that are in there. We have Brad in calling. What's up, Brad? How you doing, bud?
Morning or afternoon, gentlemen. Whew, a little tired. I have a question. I'm trying to relate this into my industry. I sell computers for a living, so there is in the IT world, there's MSRP, and it is up to the manufacturers. And Hewlett Packard is tremendous, and they have an actual Hewlett Packard army that's supposed to go out there, and all they do is make sure that prices aren't above MSR. What's up, big cat?
Hey.
Aren't above MSRP. So what it does is they sell it to the distributor, who sells it to a solution engineer, who's supposed to sell it to a end user, and at the end, it's supposed to be price X or not above price X, no matter what. And if it's above price X, then HP comes down and drops the hammer down. So I'm expecting something like that in the hobby. So I'm guessing no. So in my thought, don't laugh at me. Come on, man. Wow, God, all three of you. So
I'm laughing at Steph, laughing at you.
thanks. So in my recently new brain, then it goes back to the manufacturers of, hey, it's your responsibility to push that through in the IT industry. So is it not anything at all like that? I'm trying to relate, and I guess it's more of a question of what's going on.
I think you're looking at a lot less supply, so it can't be controlled that way. And I think when you have Panini now selling boxes and they're not even obeying, MSRP, I can't expect anybody else to, you know what I mean? I mean, if it wasn't selling for that, they wouldn't put it at that price, but they are selling at that price. So they kind of keep trying to push the limits. I mean, before, when you dealt with the Otani year in 18 Bowman, it was like $200 when it came out, then it went to $300, then it went to $400. Well, we've just surpassed all that time now, and it just goes to the top right away, So it's it can only go down. But they used to have an MSRP, but it's really not talked about anymore.
Didn't they go by MAPP?
Minimum advertised pricing. Yeah, that's for the other side of it, for the low. So you can't go lower than that.
It sucks. You can't sell for less than this.
Yes.
Replay. Replay's got to sell for at least this, guys. Right? Right. Anybody remembers that awesome product?
Oh, yeah. That was a fabulous product.
Okay, so then you go back to the Corvettes when the L1 engine came out, and the new body styles, where they were charging $10,000 to $15,000 over sticker just to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't agree to pay at least $10,000 over sticker just to talk about it, dealerships were kicking you out the door. Well, the Corvette's still popular, but they're not getting that price. Are we having to now deal with it's got to get to a certain and then come down? Or I don't know, because jumping back new into it, I don't have the cash flow to be able to spend $600. I mean, $700 for a box. What are you, absolutely nuts? Come on. I mean, there's no value there. I can't, watch your language. You can't buy anything in that box that's worth $600. Even a one of one, unless it's the $900,000 LeBron James, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get it. So I mean, the value's not there. So is it just everybody's just gonna have to throw up all over everything before the prices start coming down?
I think people are gonna have to challenge the manufacturers with their wallets. I mean, once it stops selling, then then it will go down. But I think a lot of times, the prices are kind of high because they know breakers are going to buy them. So I mean, yeah, you're not going to buy a $700 box, but a breaker may buy a $5,000 case. So then it's divvied down 30 ways, right? So I think a lot of that. I'm not saying it's entirely that, but I think that's Blowout probably sells to, or any of them probably sell to more breakers than they sell to customers these days.
Yeah,
okay,
I think we can go with these prices for some time. I don't know how much higher we can get before everybody just kind of goes, okay, we've kind of jumped the shark here, and these are, the return is not there for even my customer, right, or myself. When you could turn around, and the thing is, and we've preached this on our show, is instead take that money and go buy what you want, it's not as fun. It's not as entertaining. But go buy what you want versus opening it. That way you're guaranteed it. So you have that route too. And it's led into the retail being, before you could find retail all the time, every day of the week. Every once in a while there'd be a release. Like I still remember 1819 Prison basketball on the shelves late into night, almost the summer of 19. It was still there not all the time. But now it's like, okay, well, I can't afford hobby. Let me load my card up with retail because at least I can open some of this and get a taste of it. So
yeah, it was there in February.
Yeah,
I mean the Walmart shelves were still full in February.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, well, I'll bow out. I appreciate y'all doing some education on me.
No, we appreciate it, Brad. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's the prices have just gone crazy. And two, they bring up, you spend, there's Steven in the chat brings up, you spend all this money and you pull, like on say NT and you pull a redemption. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get that card because if that guy never signs, we all remember Khalil Mack and Julio Jones, and finally Jones signed years and years later, but was it Jaylen Brown that stopped signing for the Celtics too? And these are sought after rookies, and
I always used to like to sell redemptions for that matter. Like, I don't have the patience to wait if I hit one in a box. So, or I won't even buy a redemption of the guy I'm like collecting because I just don't want to have to deal with it. So a lot of times with redemptions, I just try to sell it.
Yeah.
Right.
What's up, Steph? How are you doing today, buddy?
Frustrations aside, pretty good. I found DK in the wild at a store, no less. It was about the only thing they had on the shelves. Pull 2 Babe Ruths, but not the ones that I can put in a vault. Artist proof.
So, Doug, do you think these prices could go any higher than they currently are?
I think some of the staple products, we still have flawless basketball coming out this year. We still have immaculate basketball coming out this year. I mean, any basketball, yes, because of the Zion factor. I mean, baseball, if they don't get their act together, if it doesn't get started, what are we going to be chasing? I mean, we have, we had 5 rounds of a draft. I mean, is that going to be good enough for prospect products? I don't know. So I think we have the perfect combination of the Zion factor, the Jason Dominguez factor. I don't. Series 2 doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, if you're getting those products that have those guys in there, there is a chance it could go up. But once again, if nobody's buying it, then it's going to go down. So,
yeah.
It's hard to predict. This hobby is so hard to predict, which is one of the better. It's the more exciting. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, from year to year. I mean, I've been doing this since 2010, opening up packs, and I would have never fathomed the kind of market we were in. I mean, I remember pulling in 2012, like chasing Andrew Luck, and people spending $50 a spot and getting a $300 Andrew Luck, and it was like, oh my God, $300 card, and now we're just on a weekly basis getting cards that are supposedly 10 to 20 grand or $5 grand for this card, 10 grand for this card, and it's just like it blows my mind.
Oh yeah, I still remember when Dan hit that Zion 1 of 1. And he just got up. I was watching live. He just got up and walked away. I'm like, what did they hit?
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of screamed like a little girl on that one, but it was definitely pure and authentic. So
no, yeah, and that's what's fun about opening, and I think that's what a lot of people some of that dollar they don't mind if they lose some money on opening a box because that you can't pay for that genuine excitement of that roller coaster ride of hitting something ridiculous or something you were looking for, but then it's got the other end too, right? That gut punch, that sick to your stomach when you're like, I just spent $600 on this, and that one's gonna hurt for a while. So
well, it's kind of like when we bought all this just junk wax that you see, behind me. I have it everywhere. I have factory sets and all kinds of stuff. All of this stuff didn't cost as much as one case of NT basketball. So it's like I could be opening this up for like a year. You know what I mean? Or I could open up a case of NT in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
I want to see. I can't wait till you guys do like '90s Fleer basketball breaks because just right over your shoulder, you have some starting right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of football, a lot of baseball, and some basketball, and we'll probably just open up some for fun on the camera just to have it.
Yeah.
But do you have a UV light for the 91 tops?
Oh, I'm gonna have to get one.
Or 91
See if they have those pink backs.
Yeah.
There's been a couple questions. So today, I finally got my May Future Stars Club pack from Tops. It was, I paid for this like, I don't know, 2 months ago.
Right.
And since then I was charged for June, like 3 weeks ago. And, I called them. I tried to call them to figure out like where it is because it was lost in tracking and sat in Florida supposedly for like 2 weeks. And I could never get through. I couldn't get a hold of, I didn't get a hold of anybody. I mean, I waited, there were 2 days I waited an hour and I gave up. And then you have like people not like understand the Project 2020 gets somewhat delayed. They said 10 to 15 business or 15 to 30 business days. Some people are getting cards like 89 and 90 before they're getting 81 and 82, and these are all from the same facility. And so it's like, what's going on? And there's talk about people not getting T206, their first wave of the T206 cards from Topps website. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. That's just super frustrating too when you're buying directly from the company and you can't get a straight answer or get your product that you're prepaid for on time or in a timely manner.
Well, and I know, do I know that shipping times are delayed through USPS, through UPS, and especially that's just intra-country. If you're talking about someone in Paraguay or Venezuela or the Philippines, that they're waiting even longer. And that's part on them and part on everything going on right now. And it's unfortunate, but it'd be nice to see the stuff, yes. But, I mean, let's do it safe and healthy first.
Yeah, USPS has been having some issues, not really scanning things. Also, kind of sending them to the wrong sorting facilities. Like, for example, like we printed and it's supposed to go to New York, and somehow it goes to Hawaii first. So customers are like, oh, you misshipped my card, and it's like, no, it's impossible to because it's all automated. So whatever if you got a tracking number, it has your address on it. We don't manually type in everything, but they're like, no, you sent it to Hawaii. It's like, no, it went there on accident. It's going to make its way back. But we're hearing more and more of this with USPS, and we're actually looking into getting some. FedEx is a little more expensive, but it's going to be better. So we already do FedEx internationally, but we're thinking about doing it domestic. But it's a price increase, but it's a peace of mind. It might be worth it as well.
Well, yeah, that's like there's a buddy of mine at Cardboard Icons who's in the same vicinity you guys are, and he's in a package of Sacramento, and it went up from there up to West Sac, back down to down to San Jose, back to West Sac, and it's like, well, huh?
Right.
Why is it being like? It doesn't make like, something screws there. But no, it's just frustrating too when you can't get somebody on the phone. And I just didn't know if anybody else had. I remember a skit a long time ago. This great podcast did about calling in.
Gotta bring that one back.
Yeah, and waiting. Just all you heard was David Wright for hours on end. But
Well, it seemed like they need to hire. I mean, I know, profit margins can be low and stuff like that, but I think they're doing pretty well now where they could maybe hire a couple extra, even if it's just automated, like it's somebody on the computer. Maybe you don't have to have a phone guy, but maybe like 3 or 4 people that are designated to answer these questions. I mean, we have 2 or 3 of us that kind of take turns, and I know we probably don't even give it anywhere half the amount of requests. I mean, not even probably 5% of the amount of requests that they are getting every day. And I hear the story over and over again that nobody can get an answer. Well, there should be a way for them to get that answer to people.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking as someone who's filling in with customer service, it's not the easiest, especially you got some irate customers wanting to know why their things haven't shipped. And for the most part, I mean, okay, it takes time to pull things, not for individual sellers. And well, it's easier to sell and buy on eBay. Yeah, sure, because you only have one guy going to one box to pull one thing. But when you got an entire warehouse of stuff or a break or something you have to fill, okay, that's going to take time. Then they have to package it up and then ship it out, and then UPS has to handle it. You might have a substantial delay, and people don't like to hear that. And it's unfortunate, but
I think that's the Amazon effect.
Exactly.
Amazon Prime.
I mean, you can't get 2 days shipping for everything. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people email us that we've like, so when our label is printed, they get an email notification. Mm-hmm. I've had people that have been like within a half an hour, they'd be like, it hasn't moved yet. It's like, well, it hasn't been picked. It's still sitting.
Please give 1 to 2 days.
Yeah, it's still sitting in the box. I mean, if they email me a couple days later says it hasn't moved, that's legitimate, right? Well, I should have moved by now, but within a couple hours, the label was just printed. So, and USPS is kind of interesting too. So we just moved we were in San Jose, now we're in Santa Clara, so it's a different city. And I have to go on there and request a pickup because, we'll have, 200-300 packages a day to get picked up. And they just send this like little old guy out who's part of it. It's his route to just deliver mail. But now he has to pick up, all these packages from us. And it's like, I feel bad. Like there should be a guy that just does that, right? A guy that has a big old truck that comes by all the routes. It's not set up that way. So,
yeah. Well, let's talk about something fun. What is... I think I know that Steph and I probably get this quite a bit, and I bet you do too. But people always ask, like, what are some of your favorite little secrets about the hobby, like little things that you use in your collection, or that you have that you think are differentiators that really make it that much better. And I can say, for hands down, the best thing I found, probably not ever, but this year, were the Superior Fit little plastic sheet, bags to put in the top loaders and the graded cards. And I think Steph sent out a picture earlier today of some Diamond King stuff that he had a normal team bag, and then one that had that, it doesn't leave any meat hanging. Right. And it looks really good. I want to know if you guys have anything like that you'd love to share to tell collectors about, because now, since I've talked about it, I go to Superior all the time and it's all sold out. So,
oh geez, I haven't even used those, so I have to see those. But what's the difference with those? Are they just snugger?
I got a picture pulled up here.
Yeah, here they see this. This one touches in one. I mean, it's like, there you go. So Steph shows it. There's no meat left on the sides. Very little in the corners there. So they're made for the one touches, or they're made for the top loaders, or they're made for the graded cards. So they just slide in. They have a very snug fit.
Gotcha.
And the best thing is when you go to their website, they have a video that says, "You tired of those little plastic tabs when you pull off the team bags?" And all the guy did was take some masking tape and roll it, stick it on the desk, and then as he tears them off, he sticks the little tab to the masking tape.
So they don't have they don't have tape things?
No, they do. But what he does is then he takes masking tape and he folds it over itself. So when he pulls it off, he sticks the piece of masking tape on his desk.
Yeah.
So there's no those pieces of plastic flying everywhere. And I go, why the hell didn't I think of that years ago? It's like the smartest little thing.
Actually, what we do is we use lint rollers.
Oh, there you go.
So we put lint rollers because those things can end up everywhere. I mean, they still do, but the lint roller, or I'll take a painter's tape and put a long piece of painter's tape and stick them when I'm doing. I mean, we're doing a lot of the time, so those things wind up everywhere. I mean, I think I have those in my car. I mean, they're. Oh yeah, everywhere.
I find them all over my house. Like they stick to shoes and socks, and they show up everywhere. Yeah, and I like too, because Steph showed the little diamond cut that they have. Mm-hmm. When you fold down on the back,
yeah,
you don't have anything else hanging out. But I want to know if you guys had anything that's kind of neat or different that might not be as well known.
I mean, does everybody use the BCW sorting trays? I mean, we use those, different ones for those. As far as shipping, I mean, it's been kind of the same. We use the graded card sleeves. We use painter's tape. I know some people still try to use tape. We use painter's tape because it comes off a little cleaner. I've heard some people say you don't need painter's tape. You don't need any tape if it's snug. And I don't know if I could be comfortable with that. I actually got an argument on Twitter with some guy saying, "Oh, you don't need to use any tape if you're using a team bag." It's like, I don't trust that, especially with different sizes. When you're dealing with like a 140 card or something and it's kind of loose, I got to put tape on it if I'm shipping it out. Got to tape the top.
So mine more isn't so card related, but on facilitating a community per se. Giveaways are nice, but it just gets you the people that are chasing those giveaways, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, actively communicating and engaging and having discussions and posting questions and posting ideas and asking questions to the hobby or responding to people's gets you much better followers, much better people that are responding to you. And, maybe that engages you to 3 months down the line, you asking, "Hey, does anybody know where I can find this?" And someone actually responds and says, "Hey, I saw this on my timeline just a bit ago. they were trying to sell it. You want it? Here you go.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Well, Chris Harris's blue painter's tape. What if it's green? You got something against green? No.
I've never used anything other than blue. So
right. There's a great question here in the chat by Ziggy. With the NBA draft in October, can we assume all 2021 draft cards will be class cards will be really delayed? Can we also expect lots of college until the draft?
That's a good question. Yeah,
photo wise for sure.
Yeah, photo wise for sure. And
I think. What do you think about a double draft class?
You mean run Zion again, or
no? Where they had, remember how they had the lockout season, and they had, what was that, 11, 12, 12, 13? They were all together doing something where, depending on how quick they roll the 2021 season, the 21-22 season together. But
I don't think they would leave any money on the table for this season. So I think they would run out to college as much as they can. And then I think football is going to kind of give us the blueprint of how they're going to do it without any rookie premiere, assuming that there's no rookie premiere for the NBA. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of photoshopping, and once they are drafted, of course.
Well, and thankfully, Penny with their football license is well accustomed to Photoshop.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of double zero coming. I don't like the double zero. I rather just not have the number on there. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
it's goofy to me, or just like the draft class, like number 20, right? Like, I don't know. It's strange. It's strange for me to see that, but.
Yeah, and supposedly on that, because you'll see in Origins is going to be the one that's all half double zero at least for football. But some guys will pick their number ahead of time. I think Panini doesn't get everybody to pick their number, or some guys that are fifth, sixth round, maybe they can't pick their number until they do training camp or something like that. But guys like Joe Burrow and stuff, they'll probably have their number picked out, right? But it's all depending on when they join the team.
Yeah, no, definitely. Brad wants to know, is there a reason that card saver ones are so hard to find? Yes. Have you tried to find top loaders or penny sleeves lately too? The pandemic had a lot of shutdown of supplies across the board getting into the country because they are produced abroad. And so, I mean, I've seen packs of one touches, like a 5-pack of one touches that, normally is like $10 going for almost $50.
Yep.
I was like, huh?
Yeah, we had to panic buy some regular top loaders at an obscene price just to make sure we had them, to ship stuff. And thankfully, I think that stuff's back. But we don't use a lot of card savers. But I've been told they're pretty much gone everywhere.
The card savers, they hurt. I don't like it because they hurt the fingers when you try to take the card out. I'll get a lot of fights with people because card savers are the best ever. I'm like,
Are they though?
Well, I think you're getting a lot of. I think they shut down grading for 2 months, right? So now that it's back, I think it's like you take something away, and I think you have more business headed that way, right? So people are buying them for grading.
They should just shut down grading.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't. We can get into that. I personally don't buy. I don't grade cards. I've bought some graded cards, but with the prices and what's going on and some of the legitimacy of some of the cards they've graded lately, I don't understand the process or why we should accept what they're currently doing. They're asking for a lot of money with really a long time. You know how much time, even with if you pay for expedited, how much can change in a week or two with a player, especially a football player, and their value, or even if you send in a bulk shipment through a submitter that maybe does that for you, where you have a group submission, that time turnaround, how much value could be lost on that card because it took so long to get there, and then it doesn't get back the grade you want, and then you're frustrated on top of it. I don't see it. I've tried to have somebody explain to me, and they're like, well, the resale, but there's all these other bubbles. Like, how many times is it going to get mailed? Right. Who's going to have their hands on it? Who's looking at it? Whose opinion's going to judge my card? And so I don't know.
Yeah, you would think that with computers and everything else being moved into different manufacturing and processing businesses, that the grading department would move towards that, at least as a first pass, maybe. It would help at least standardize grades. Hey, this card has chipping across the board. The computer detected it. It's not a 10.
Right.
Whereas they might have passed it off as a 10. Or, hey, and that's another thing. A computer doesn't necessarily say, hey, this is Steve Allen. He's done $10 million with us. Let's give him better grades.
Exactly.
It's just digits to them.
Yeah, we actually looked into that a little bit. A lot of work, and then trying to get people to trust you or be the new guy on the block, But we talked to a developer, and they said it'd be really easy to do with several cameras to, go ahead and, have it self-grade. I mean, the problem is you'd have to, upload basically every template of every new release that ever comes out too. So, it's surprising how untransparent things are. I mean, in this side of the industry, I always hear people, send it to this guy because, he always gets a lot more 9.5s than when I send it to myself because he's doing bulk submissions. And, I don't know if any of that is true or not, but it just doesn't seem like very transparent. Like, I imagine somebody maybe filming it or if it's done by a robot, it could just be all filmed and it all could be documented on how it graded it. And then you could maybe feel a little bit better about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get an email with the video clip of the card being examined, and we have facsimile autos getting graded.
Yeah,
and if this is a person that knows cards that's doing this, how does that happen? Because you go look on the back and it tells you if it's autographed or not, right?
Right. Yeah, how is it getting missed? Yeah, I mean, these guys are probably underpaid and overworked. I mean, I've heard that they were backed up 5-6 million cards. Maybe I'm embellishing there, but there was just an extreme backup. So I'm sure these guys are they're sitting at their desk or wherever they do it. I don't know because no one knows, but they're just probably going through as fast as they can and they're missing things.
Windows are in a basement somewhere and they're allowed to leave.
I know.
In a parking lot at Whataburger.
Right.
No, it's just,
I've even heard the Beckett grading is the guy's pretty ruthless. He wants you won't be able to take a vacation till you're done. You won't be able to leave. It's you got to get the work done. So, and I can imagine right now with all the backup of the cards, you got to get it done fast.
Yeah, you're not you treat your shipping department you're not leaving until the Series 2 is shipped and packed.
Yeah, we're a little bit more lenient than that, but yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it was like with the $60 break too that you guys did, getting that all put together. So
yeah, I think one guy worked on it for about 8 hours, so one break for 8 hours.
So speaking of basketball and product, anybody want a Leaf Cam Reddish auto?
There you go, perfect.
We talked about how awesome that was earlier in the show.
Oh,
that looks better than his Court Kings one. There's more lines on it.
Yeah, more ink was spared.
Yeah.
On that one, used on that one. So. No, I mean, with baseball, do you think that we're going to have – I know basketball is supposed to tip off soon and baseball is supposed to take off. Do you really believe that's going to happen?
I don't know. I just heard Hunter Bishop got COVID too. So, I don't know how they're going to handle it when the actual season starts and there's players that have it and maybe those players are around all the other players. I don't know. I hope, I hope, but – and then they're telling these players that they can't go out, after they're done with the game. They want them to all go home. Some of these 20-year-old guys, they might be they might want to go out. It's going to be hard to, I don't know. I hope it all works out.
Yeah. I to be honest, I have all the hopes and wishes that this continues. We get sports, right? I miss it. I miss watching even the A's Devil Rays game, or A's Rays game, I miss in the middle of the afternoon to be able to, to turn on and listen to a game. That's how bad it is. But I doubt we're going to have football because you got to think football is the most intimate sport out there. Yep. Hockey and basketball, you're on top. Baseball is probably the least.
More distance, yeah.
More distance between the players and the the fielders. But in football, you're on each other every play. And I just don't see how they can control that, especially with the, as large of a roster that they carry. Think of college. You're talking 100 college kids on a team.
Right.
I know when I played college football, they couldn't control anything we did when we left the facility. And
I could easily see
a lost year. So
between football and hockey in particular, as often as the players check each other, now you have the thought of, well, I heard that he was sick 2 weeks ago. Do I still go in to check him? And maybe that causes a second or two delay and someone gets injured. It's going to be interesting to see if the season goes through.
I think we had a couple of Washington Nationals come out today and say they're not playing this year because of family issues, that they feel it's better.
Mike Leake, a couple other guys too.
Well, I think Mike Leake's team is probably happy that he's not playing.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, and it stinks because I think, if we lose a year of Mike Trout, I know DiMaggio and Williams and those guys all missed some time due to war. And that's different than losing it to some crazy virus. But to lose a great year of Mike Trout's going to be, disappointing. Brad wants to come back in. What's up, Brad?
Yeah, so this is I've been actually talking offline about this. So if baseball doesn't go down, what happens? Do we get a third Jordan Alvarez rookie card? And what happens to that third rookie card, or the second rookie card, or the first rookie card? Or now that you have the rules that they have to be in baseball jerseys and play a game. Well, okay, what if they go to that expanded rosters? None of the Major League Baseball players play. You've got minor league baseball players who can't play right now because they won't let them play in the minor league parks. They're going to play in the majors now. So wow. What does that do to, I know, Shep, you're big into it. What does that do into prospecting? What does that do into what's now legally a true rookie? Is it first year, second year, third year, fourth year, 12th year? Do we got another Mark McGuire, where an 85 is a real rookie? Yes, I got it in. Yes.
I'm gonna get kicked off. No, I think if I was looking at some of these 60-man rosters that they have, and it's all of the top prospects are listed on this roster, and I'm not sure how they work, if they can rotate, how those guys are going to rotate in or out. But holy God, if that's the case, 2020 Topps update will be thousands of dollars a hobby box if all these guys debut in 2020.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's going to be interesting to see because, traditionally, Mantle aside, that first card of major release is the one that everyone chases. Again, Mantle aside. So with all of these guys getting their debut, do you push them back to Series 1? Do you push them back to opening day? Series 2, do you hold them for update? I mean, it's going to be a ridiculous vibe now. If they're all going to get dumped in update. I was talking with Uncle Rich on this in regards to not necessarily the rookies, but what do you do for the statistical records? You might have a guy hit 400 in 60 games. Mm-hmm. I mean, the last it happened was Chipper in the early 2000s, 2010s, whatever. But it would be interesting to see, do they put an asterisk or in 60 games in parentheses? I mean, what about rookie limits? The guys that have to have X amount of innings pitched or X amount of games played. Mm-hmm. How do you qualify them as a rookie still?
Right.
Well, I think that all gets prorated based on the number of games compared to 162. Like batting titles. You have to have so many at bats to qualify. Yeah, so I think that changes based on the number of games, and I think the same with the rookies. So, I think we're going to wait and see right now. I mean, in the last few years, Topps has really played with the rules on the first rookie because if you look in 18, Acuna and Torres had those short prints in Series 2, but also had rookie cards in update series. Yeah. Last year, there was Vlad, who was the no number, semi-short print, and then he had a rookie card in update as well. The semi-short print one the no number usually goes a little bit higher than the update one, but still are both collectible. To me, I'm not a huge fan of that, and I'm glad there wasn't something like that in the Series 2 this year because it kind of takes away from knowing which one's which. Adds too much confusion to already confusing topic. If you look back 5 years from now and you weren't in it, or have somebody that was in the know, what the hell was going on? So
I think in terms of back to the question about Topps using all the rookies, they could have used Jordan in update last year, but they didn't. So I think they would absolutely, if all of them started, they would hold some out to 2021.
Right.
Okay, so I just had a thought and lost it. Sorry.
It happens when you're a Rangers fan. So
I got an easy one.
Oh, ow.
Much like wins in Texas Stadium, I got an easy one for you.
Ooh.
I know we talk about Kirby's titties, and
this is the greatest card ever made. I asked to have somebody said this, man, I was like, I need to see this card, and I always make fun of the Kirby Puckett version of this with his boobs hanging out. This picture of Tommy Lasorda popped up yesterday on Twitter, and Nick Vosbrink made this today just for me. I love it. I wish I could get this printed and have Tommy sign it.
Is that during the Slim Fast heyday, or
maybe? But there's nothing better than like a 60-year-old topless Tommy Lasorda throwing BP.
Yes, that's awesome. That is awesome. I want that card.
Right.
I would have it, except for he's associated with the Dodgers, so I would.
The Dodgers, yeah.
It could be worse. It could be a Royals. I mean,
I would gladly trade this for that.
Hey, Brad, you want to count World Series real quick?
I
asked Brad if he wanted to count World Series wins real quick.
Oh, man.
I remember 2010. That was a good World Series.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Giants own the Royals and the Rangers, actually.
That's true.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
We have the worst luck of having no luck whatsoever. I mean, it's awful. It's
2011.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A bounced ball over somebody's head. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But you know what? I like pain. I like breaking wax. I like.
I'm only being a Minnesota sports fan. Then, if you like pain,
we got the Stars. I mean, come on.
Again.
All right, Brad. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Hey, so I have a question. So I want to know what your thoughts are on this, Steph. And I heard Doug talking about this the other day. Like, why? But like a guy like Buster Posey, 3-time World Series champion, Rookie of the Year, batting title, MVP, comeback player, multi-time All-Star, icon of a big-time franchise. Why is he so undervalued compared to a guy in the same organization that plays the same position than Joey Bart? You know, like, is there another guy that is in the last 10 years of baseball or any sport that's had so many accomplishments that's been so undervalued?
So to quickly answer your question, 1, he plays catcher, not shortstop, outfield. 2, he doesn't bring the power, and 3, he plays on the Giants. I mean, yeah, sure, you have 3 titles, and hey, that's great. But I mean, it's not the Yankees. It's not the
5
Dodgers,
years.
It's not the Yankees. It's not the Dodgers. It's not the Cubs.
Well, but you could throw Wander. Why does Wander Franco sell then?
Yeah, Wander Franco plays for the Rays, and they play in a toaster.
He's a shortstop, outfield?
He's going to supposedly be a shortstop. Yeah,
hits for power, 2 for 3.
Yeah, no, it's hard. That's what's crazy about the whole thing is you got guys that Trout that played in 1 playoff game, and you've got Posey who's won 3 World Series. Like you already said, I'm not going to rehash because they're amazing accomplishments, and just doesn't sell. I get the whole catcher argument, but then what Shep said is, what about Joey Bart? So then you can only hope that Joey Bart's like half as good as Posey. So why are people paying? Is it just the unknown about Joey Bart, that what he could be? But
he would have to win 5 World Series and get 10 MVP. Like, and how many? Like, there's nothing Joey Bart could do that would make him more valuable than Buster Posey at this point. Like, how much would he have to do? And Cardi C says he's not a Hall of Fame. That Posey's not a Hall of Famer. I don't agree in that.
I don't agree that him and Mauer aren't Hall of Famers.
No, I agree that Mauer could be a Hall of Famer. You know, you don't remember. If you look back at some of the latest Hall of Famers, like Harold Baines, like he did diddly poo almost his entire career. Except for play forever. That's all he did was play forever.
That position needs a lot of reworking as far as Hall of Fame qualifications, because personally, if you're looking at the 2000s and the 2010s, you're seeing Yadi Molina, Posey, and Mauer. Sure, the hits aren't there, but you're talking 3 batting titles, MVP. Posey's 3 World Series rings, Yachty being the best defensive catcher.
Yachty has a couple World Series in there, and so I mean, I just
And I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, obviously, I didn't watch as much Mauer, but I mean, I watched a lot of Giants games, and there's something to be said about having that guy call a game too. I know, other than defense, being able to call the right pitching, the right pitches for the right situation. I mean, it's easy when you have Lincecum and you have Bumgarner, Kane, all these guys he's had, but you also got to give credit to how Posey called the game too.
Exactly.
I just it drives me crazy when people are chasing down prospects, and paying ridiculous amounts of money when they've yet to do. I mean, truly, has Jason Dominguez even played a minor league game yet?
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. What do you think about the Onyx thing? Have you guys seen the Onyx cards?
No.
They have Jason Dominguez in their upcoming vintage product, which I think it must be like a series 2 of it because they've already came out with the vintage product. They actually had him sign Bowman paper, and I think they're going to be putting him in the product. So I don't know, unless it's like I seen him pimping it out on Twitter and everything. Wow. So it's like actually Bowman cards, yeah. So I don't know if there's any. Maybe they're not going to be in the packs, but they definitely have them. They're either facilitating them or they're going to be putting them in that product. But it is, I don't know what the trademark issues are on that. I don't know how that works out, but
so they're going to try to do a Leaf-esque. Hey, this is another person's thing, but we had him sign it, and we're verifying that it's authentic.
I believe so. Yeah, they must have sat him down with a signing for their own cards, and they had some Bowman paper of them and had him sign them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
trying to flirt I mean, I guess if you have call it as a buyback, because we've seen that before. But
yeah,
and maybe they get them graded. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe to get them authenticated that way.
I don't know. That's crazy. No,
I'll have to do some more research on it and see how they're going to be inserting them. But yeah, they definitely showed him on their Twitter, I think today or maybe yesterday, about Jason Dominguez, and it was Bowman, and they had him sign some inserts too, which is like really weird looking. So
just do your own thing, right? Like, I see you're just asking for trouble. I don't. I don't get that. So Rich in the chat says there's no issue with that for Onyx. We've been through this before with Classic way back in the mid 1990s. So, always Uncle Rich. See, he has knowledge that goes way back. He's forgotten more than we'll ever know together.
So we only rehashed that because we were solving some 1993, 1994 Classic and action-packed cards earlier today.
Cardi C has a question about Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V. I did not see his interview with Old Town Sports Cards. Did you guys? I've been a little busy this morning or today.
I have it queued up to watch tonight.
Okay.
I have not seen it, but I heard it was a puff piece, which seeing Old Town Cards before, he was like big hater on him. So I don't know if he asked him any of those hard questions or not. So I'm interested to see it as well.
Check that out and because sometimes it's funny when someone runs their mouth or has an opposite opinion of somebody, and then they have them on their show, and all of a sudden they're just licking the taint of the person on. I mean, we had Brian Gray on, and I've said plenty of crazy stuff about Brian, and he came on, and even in our chat, people were roasting him, and he leaned into everything, and he understood, and the thing is I believe you just got to be honest. Yeah, I said, like, this is what I think. Like, you make most of your product is see-through crap. It's somebody else's product in a repack, which is fun to open because you're going to get something kind of cool in there, but it's not your stuff. It was just something you bought from somebody else. But
unless it's a Jerry Rice auto.
Oh God, yeah. On the post, love that. That was my favorite. So. But
I think it's that whole face to face, right? You can be behind a Twitter and I hate this, and then you get face to face. I mean, granted, we're through a video screen here, but you get somebody on there, and it's like, oh, now you're not as tough as you were behind your words, right? So
sure,
telephone tough guys. It's so much fun when you get to see them in person.
Right, exactly.
With much more about Gary Vee taking responsibility for self-policing in the hobby, essentially saying after this weekend he now realizes the market pull his comments have. Okay, but anytime he made a video or made a post, he should have been able to see everybody going out to buy the cards that he mentioned or the cards that he had posted in a picture or anything like that. So I don't see how Gary Vee didn't necessarily already understand his pull.
Well, I mean, you see the McCutcheon cards were kind of pumped up by having an ESPN piece on it, right? So those McCutcheon SPs. So it doesn't take much to influence people in this hobby. You know, you have like 15 dedicated people are going to buy that same card. I mean, look how much it's going to change the market. So,
well, look at Phil Hughes asked. He said he was looking for Vidal's one of the Ranger prospects out of 2020 was looking for his autos today or yesterday, and go watch the prices since he put that tweet out on what they were starting to go for.
Yeah.
And then he goes, it's funny when you asked, you're looking to buy somebody and somebody thinks you know something about a player and all of a sudden then the price goes up, you know? So certain people can have that effect on it. They think you might have some inside information. And, you know, I'm glad maybe he came out and said, you know, cause I think when Gary Vee says like, hey, I'm buying Sam Darnold autographs. One, you have to remember he's a Jets fan. But two, it's like, oh God, what does he know about Sam Darnold and the Jets that we might not know? And maybe he's already bought 100 of them, and he's the guy that's going to resell them to you now that he's talked about it at a higher price. And so that can get kind of lost there. But
yeah, absolutely.
You know, we will see, guys. This has been awesome. It was another great week here on the Hobby Hotline Monday Night Heat edition. We're going to be back on Saturday with the classic version of Hobby Hotline, and again here on Monday. So keep following us, keep hanging out with us, and send your awesome questions our way. Come join us. It's a lot more fun when we have you guys on here. It's the show for you, and we will see you all next week. Have a good one.
Yep, I think that's true.